All right, world. So this is week 2 into this series on, I guess, the process of going off of medications. I'm glad I just remembered to do this. It's like hard to remember to do this. So it's Friday. A week ago, I reported about how I had cut my medication down, and how that was kind of the first video I made. So I wish I really had like a total like before video, but that was like 1 week in was the first video, and I remember seeing like I was kind of agitated, and I was like, oh, like kind of an edge, a little frustrated about like stuff. And what I had done there is like I started this journey off on, I guess you'd say like 150 milligrams of Seroquel a night, like 6 months ago. I cut that down to 100 a night. Sometimes I take 150 if I really need some extra sleep. And I've been on 200 milligrams of Lamictal. And a couple weeks ago, I cut that down to 150. Under, with a doctor, I coordinated it. So because I felt like I was getting like pretty agitated or just something, didn't feel right. What I did is instead of going down to 150, I did 175. So the last week it's been 175. And I also screwed something up because the first night that I changed it down to 175 in the morning when I was putting it together, I accidentally took an extra pill. Because what I do is I take 100 at night, 75 in the morning. But when I changed it around, I accidentally took 175 in the morning. So that was one screw up in this science experiment. But last week I felt really good. I went to this conference this week with all these people that are unschooled, and it was like I felt so welcome with all these people, and it really made me think of my first time having this kind of manic episode, whatever the hell you want to call it. And I had just finished college and I became an entrepreneur, and all of a sudden like the world was like wide open. There was like nothing holding me back, nothing stopping me, and I had kind of a lot of success fast, and it was like a lot of things happened, and there was no one to really mentor me, and people were like, what's going on, what's happening? And for the last 8 years I've been just learning that way, like an entrepreneur, like finding answers, asking questions, going to people, find help, do what I can. And it's been kind of, not lonely, but it's like you try to find mentors or whatever. Whereas this week, like I found people doing that from like birth, these unschoolers. Like it was like the most amazing thing. I felt so happy, so welcome. And, I didn't tell like my total story about everything, but it really, made me think like I for the last like 8 years have been doing what they're all doing. So even though I was like the oldest, I wasn't a kid, I'm 30, most of them are like teens and younger, but they really kind of, it was a real vibe, and I kind of connected with them. And it felt really good. There was one little element where I started to get like this, not agitation, but they had a talent show, and I was like, I'd love to do stand-up comedy for this crew, because I got some really good shit about school and stuff like that. And I was like, this is the crowd that would love it. And but I'm too old to do the talent show, kind of. But then there were some parents that participated with their kids, and then there were some parents that did it. So I was like, like maybe I can. And I'm an outsider, though. I don't even have kids, but these people were so welcoming to me that I was like, all right. So I was like, kind of like, hey, what if I did stand up? My stuff's a little like risque, whatever, and people are kind of like, yeah, maybe, maybe go for it. Yeah, whatever, go for it. So finally I was like, all right, I need to like legitimate talk to one of these parents. So I kind of did what the kids do. I was like, went to one of the parents and said, hey, listen, I really want to talk to you about something. I'm kind of having trouble with. What do you think of this? And she advised me, like, this is probably not the setting. So it's cool, but it like I kind of practiced that thing of like they have like this huge open dialogue between the adults and the kids, and like they really blur the lines of age and stuff. So it was cool. And I didn't do it. I had a great time. I emceed the event. It was like a blast. So then last night it was pretty much all over. I had a great time, was kind of doing hugs, goodbyes, conversations, hanging out with kids. It was awesome. And then one of the parents, kind of drunk, took me aside, sat me down, had this conversation where he kind of accused me of being like a pedophile. So that, like, I won't get all the way into it, but it was, I stayed pretty calm, like medication. Like I felt pretty calm. I could have seen myself kind of being reactive, maybe more so. But I felt pretty calm. It was pretty hurtful to hear. It will be really fucking funny at some point that somebody accused me of being a pedophile. But it, like that's something that I could have seen maybe setting me off. And I unfortunately, I sacrificed sleep a lot this week to stay with these people at this event and talk more and do more things. So like I was not the greatest. I did sacrifice sleep quite a bit. I was up late and I still did my meditations and I did sacrifice sleep a lot. But all in all, like, I could really talk at length about the whole pedophile accusation thing, but this isn't really about this. This is really about coming off meds and kind of seeing this process. I'm kind of sweaty because I'm in the car. It's hot, so I'm like, take that for what you want. But yeah, I think, like I said, I could talk for like forever about the event and the amazing things and like this fucking pedophile accusation and shit like that. Like, it's so fucking weird. But again, this is all about just coming off meds and dealing with that. So, I did alter things by going slower off the meds, but all in all, so far, it's really, really good. My fears are subsided already quite a bit. So I thought I was going to do 5 minutes. I'm at 6, so let's just end it here. See you, I guess, next week.